Welcome to the 2020 Emancipation Interview Series, in which we talk to some of Dominica's cultural stalwarts. In this program, we feature one of Dominica's cultural icons, none other than Pearle Christian. Pearle, welcome to the program.
I'm happy to be here, Raymond. It's my pleasure to be here.
When you look back on such a wonderful career that you have had, especially in the field of music, what are one or two of the highlights of your career that come to mind?
Certainly my work with choirs in Dominica, choral music. I had a big interest in working with children's choirs when I'd just come back from studying. And I had the Convent Prep Choir and the Cairo School of Music Choir. Did a lot of work with those groups. And then I went on to do the Sixth Form Cicero Singers. For 23 years, I directed that group. And then for the next 2 years, I sort of worked with the co-directors, the new people who were stepping up into the role of directorship of the group. I worked with them for 2 years, but still working on the production committee and working with the executive of that group. And just this year, I gave up. I am off the executive, and I just work with the directors committee. There was also work with the National Chorale under the battle of Edith Bellot. Those were great times for me. Really sort of did a lot of work with community choiring at that time. And then, other than that, I also taught instrumental music. I taught recorder and flute. I thought maybe a lot of my time went into sort of grooming young recorder players and young flautists. And up to now, I still have, having retired from the cultural division, I have my private studio, Henkel Mural Music Workshop, and I teach recorder and flute. So those two areas were pretty significant for me.
And who would you say are some of the persons who sort of influenced your musical career?
I have to say, my father, he always wanted one of his daughters to do music professionally, which was really unheard of at the time. But he was very adamant. And the lots fell on me, and he really facilitated my development as a music educator. I started off music with my uncle, Pearle Christian, and then I studied piano with Rosemary Kulzlati. I love her to the end. I absolutely love that lady. And she was the one who really set me on the path to facilitating me or preparing me really to do music at tertiary level. During my high school days in first form, my first form class teacher was Amma Harris. She was the one who really opened my eyes to musical theater. They had put on this production, Meet Arizona. I told you, I saw this once and I never forgot it. And there was Jean Lawrence, Raymond, your sister Jean Lawrence. She was my singing teacher, and we had put on this musical, Rip Van Winkle. And she really sort of was the person who introduced me to choral music. Also her work with traditional music. I mean, when I heard Jean, when she formed the Siflamotine Chorale, and I heard her, the work she did with folk music, using folk music as creating material within the idiom of the folk. I thought this was just miraculous, and for me, she was really one of the biggest architects of my life, focusing me on things, the folklore of the country in the area of music. And later on, at School of Music in Jamaica, there was Michael Burnett. He was my composition tutor and my choir conductor, and he was also my form and analysis teacher. He was really a great mentor. And during that time, I was able to meet Noel Dexter, par excellence, the conductors of conductors when it came to particularly Caribbean folk music. So he was really great, he had a great influence on my life. And then I came back, there's Alwyn Bully with the People's Action Theatre, the Cultural Division, and the times we had just talking about music and the arts and culture. So all these are the people who really sort of focused my mind and sort of molded me into the person I am. Also, there's Leng Sorendo. When she opened the School of Music, she really offered me leeway to sort of express myself, and I really sort of grew from that. So all of these people have just been a blessing in my life, really.
With the tremendous experience you've had, Pearle, in music especially, what advice would you give to upcoming, aspiring musicians, aspiring singers, choral groups in Dominica in general?
Keep relevant. You have to keep relevant, keep up with the times, never stop studying. You have to, it's something like you don't do it and say, oh, I have arrived, because things change, the world changes, so you have to keep relevant. So that's what I'll tell them, you know, always, every day you can learn, and you can learn from all sorts of people, you know. Sometimes I think I work with a little group and I find I learn from even the little children in the group. So just keep your mind open, that sort of thing. That's what I'll really tell them.
Mm-hmm. And your present involvement in music, can you tell us about that?
Yes, I do the D for Children's Choir, and I have my private studio, the Henkel Muriel Music Workshop, named after my parents, Henkel and Muriel. And I think of it as a workshop because it's more than just teaching music. I do recorder and flute, but it's more sort of molding young minds. Yes. Also, I play in my church. Oh, I love that. I play piano in my church at the 7 o'clock Mass, and I really do love that service that I give.
So as we come to the end of the program, Pearle, any closing comments you'd have in general about music, your music involvement, persons involved in music?
Just to say that, you know, I tell people, I tell the parents of the kids that I teach that music it's such a wonderful art form to have. I remember my dad, until the end, when he played his harmonica, he just kept, to me that was the last thing he really did. He read, and towards the end, it really was his music that kept him in connection with humanity. And I tell my parents, anybody can do music. You don't have to be talented. You know, music is a skill. Once you're willing to put in the effort, you can do wonderful things. You don't have to play in an orchestra, but you can enjoy yourself. You can play, you can give service, play with community groups, play with your church. So music is really a wonderful, wonderful art form. During COVID, that COVID lockdown, that is the thing that kept me grounded. I would take up that flute and I would play, and it was like, because it demands your total attention, it's just a great tool. You know, it's a great companion. Music, that's it.
Well, thank you very much, Pearle Christian, for joining us on this program. Congratulations on the work that you've done in Dominica, in music. You've done such tremendous work, and I just want to encourage you to continued success in your field of music.
Thank you so much, Raymond. It was a pleasure being here.
Yeah, and I'm Raymond Lawrence on behalf of the Cultural Division.